All right, welcome. If you're a level 6 marketing apprentice, you know what I'm talking about when I say skill S1. It can feel like the final boss, right? Well, today we're going to crack it wide open. We're going to show you exactly how to master it.
I mean, let's be real for a second. The idea of leading a whole marketing plan from the very beginning to the very end, it's a lot. It is a massive, complex skill. So if you're kind of looking at it, feeling a bit overwhelmed, wondering how on earth do I even show that I can do this, trust me, you are definitely not alone.
So let me introduce you to someone. This is Jody. She's a super smart level 6 apprentice over at IBIS stores. But, and this might sound familiar, she was hitting a total wall with skill S1. Just really struggling to get her head around what it actually meant.
And then her manager, Riddle, gave her this piece of advice that just clicked. It changed everything. She said, Jody, it's not about being a cook who just follows recipes. It's about becoming the head chef who creates them. And that right there, that single idea is the key to unlocking this whole thing.
Okay, so let's get into it. What does it actually mean to be the head chef of marketing? We're about to break down the real expectation behind Skill S1, because it's all about leading and implementing that strategy, from top to bottom.
So, the official definition of S1? It's all about leading the creation and implementation of marketing strategy. But in our kitchen analogy, think of it like this. You're not just following a recipe for, say, the side salad. Nope. You are designing the signature dish. That's your marketing plan, the one that's going to make the whole restaurant, your business, a massive success.
And this right here, this is the absolute game changer. A cook, they contribute. They follow the recipe card, but the head chef, that's the level 6 expectation. You own the whole plan. You're the one who's accountable for how it turns out. You're making those big strategic calls.
Okay, so how does Jody actually do it? How does she go from being a really good cook to a celebrated head chef? Well, it's a journey, for sure. And lucky for her, she's got her mentor, Adam, to guide her. So let's check out this recipe for success.
It's really a 4-step process, and it makes a lot of sense. First, you've got to build that strategic confidence. That's your foundation, right? So you can make smart choices. Then you step up and actually lead the planning. After that, it's all about managing the implementation, keeping an eye on the team and the results. And finally, and this is so important, you close the loop by constantly improving, taking what you learned and making the next dish even better.
And of course, no head chef goes into the kitchen empty-handed, right? You need your toolkit. We're talking about things like strategic marketing frameworks to give you structure, really deep analyses of the market and your competitors to find that special edge, super clear KPIs so you actually know what winning looks like, and you've got to understand the business's own planning cycles. These are your essential knives, your pans, your whole setup.
And here it is. This is where the rubber meets the road. Her mentor, Adam, he doesn't just hand her a small task. No, he throws down a real challenge. He says, I want you to lead the development of the next marketing plan for IBIS stores. Own it from start to finish. This is it. This is that moment a cook truly steps up to run the kitchen.
So now we're moving from just theory to actual practice. I mean, having a great recipe written down is one thing, but pulling it off perfectly during a chaotic dinner rush, that is where a true head chef shows their skill.
So what does this look like day to day? Well, it means you're running the kitchen. You're the one turning that grand strategy into daily action items. You're leading your teams and coordinating with your agencies. That's your line cooks and your front of house staff. You're juggling all the ingredients, the people, the budgets, the activities, and you're constantly tasting, checking, making sure everything is perfect, and you're ready to jump on any problem the second it pops up.
Okay, so you've created this amazing dish. Awesome. But it's not enough. You have to prove you did it. And for your apprenticeship, that proof has to go into your logbook on Aptum. So let's talk about how you document all this incredible leadership in a way that really counts.
Now, Jody's coach, Olivia, gives her probably the most crucial piece of advice for this whole part. She says, your evidence can't just say you supported something. It has to scream leadership. Every single piece of paper, every report has to shout, I owned this, I was accountable for this.
And it's actually pretty straightforward to see how your work translates into the evidence Aptum is looking for. Just think of it like this, right? That big marketing strategy you led, that's your master recipe. All those implementation plans and delivery docs, those are your kitchen orders. The performance reviews and evaluation reports, those are your tasting notes. And any big proposals or decisions you made to change things up, those are your critical recipe refinements.
But listen, the documents themselves, they're only half the story. The real magic happens in your reflective commentary. This is where you explain the why. It's your big chance to show how your strategy was perfectly aligned with what the business needed, to justify the big calls you made, to talk about the challenges you smashed through, and most importantly, to prove the actual impact you had.
So, everything we've talked about, it's all building up to one thing, the final test. Your endpoint assessment, or EPA. You can think of this like the world's most important food critic walking into your restaurant. They're going to have questions, and they expect amazing answers. Let's see how Jody gets ready for this.
Okay, so here's a classic question they might hit you with. What they're really testing here is your business brain. They want to see that you get it, that marketing isn't just some creative thing floating on its own. It has to be tied directly to the success of the business.
And with this one, pay super close attention to that one word, led. They are not asking what you helped with or what you were a part of. They want a specific, concrete example of you taking the reins, leading the teams, and managing the whole show. This is a pure leadership test.
Now this is the kind of question that separates the good from the great. This is a distinction level question. See, they're not just asking, hey, did it work? They're asking, how do you know it created a real, lasting advantage for the business? This is all about testing your deep, strategic thinking.
And Jody's answer? It's just perfect. It's a masterclass. Just listen to the keywords she uses. Linked to growth targets. I led the implementation. Sustained our competitive advantage. It's so confident, it's straight to the point, and there's absolutely no doubt that she was the leader. So, by completely reframing the skill, by following that 4-step path, and by being so smart about evidencing her leadership, Jody didn't just scrape by. She absolutely knocked it out of the park. She took this huge challenge and turned it into her signature strength.
And so, now, it's your turn. You've got the ingredients, you've got the kitchen, we've laid out the recipe for success. The only question left is, what's your signature dish going to be?